Hey there, this is Eric. Haven't done a video in a while. My fig season this year was kind of hit or miss, and I was kind of in and out, and was gone a majority of the summer, so wasn't around really to do much. But it's the middle of November. I just got done picking my persimmons for the year, and that's what those look like. So these are all Fuyu. I've got a few coffee cake persimmons, not too awful many. My tree's still pretty small, but this is the first year I've really gotten a decent amount of pineapple guavas to try, and these are all off the same tree or bush. This is just an unnamed seedling that I have. But when they're ripe, they fall off the tree, and provided I can beat the dogs to them, I've gotten, quite a few of these. I've eaten a few of these so far, and I figured it would be a good idea, maybe because these are still relatively unknown for a lot of people, especially in my area, to see what they taste like and do kind of a tasting video. So these are all like different stages of ripeness. These I picked a few days ago. This one I picked today, or I say picked, I picked it up off the ground. But we'll cut them open and see what they look like. And I know what they taste like already, but I'll try to describe it for you. That way you can kind of gauge whether or not you want to grow a couple of these bushes. I think you do need two. I think they do better with cross-pollination. I had to hand pollinate, so I just take a paintbrush out and just kind of bebop around, the flower petals and pick up the pollen and move it from bush to bush. So anyway, that being said, let's go ahead and cut these open, and we'll see what they look like. These are more ripe. I picked them earlier. This one's still pretty firm, but it's the bigger of them. The size tends to range on this bush from something about this big to stuff about this big. They're all about in that range. A few of them were a little smaller, but that could be a process or a result of not enough water over the summer. My understanding is these need a pretty substantial amount of water, but they do really well for me as far as like growing. They're pretty hardy. They handle our winters just fine. They handle the rain just fine. They're pretty low maintenance in my experience with them. I've been growing them now I have 6 bushes in the ground. I have probably, the oldest one I think has probably been in the ground for 5 years. And so this is the first year I've really gotten, enough fruit to really taste it and test it. But I love the trees or the bushes, whatever you want to call them. Just aesthetically, they're beautiful. They're evergreen. They put out really pretty flowers. Like I said, low maintenance, and they handle our climate just fine. So I really like that. And with a little bit of work, you can get a crop of edible fruit. So that's really kind of cool. I'll just, sorry, dead air. ADHD brain can't multitask. All right, got the flower parts cut off. Now we can cut them open. Cut that one up into quarters, I think. All right. Oopsie. All right, we'll start with the bigger one because it's the most firm and it's the freshest. But you can see how juicy they are. Even the ones that have been sitting on the counter for a few days, they're very juicy. The skin on them is edible too. that's a personal preference on whether or not you want to try eating it. But you can see out here, it is a little tougher. The stuff on the inside, the heart of it, it's kind of like eating a kiwi. This inner part is the sweetest part. It's really, I like it. That's excellent. If you like sweet tart candy, I love sweet tarts and like Sour Patch Kids and that kind of thing. Just really, really interesting kind of floral, almost citrusy kind of flavor. But it's that sweet tart hit. It hits you on two different sides of your taste buds. You know what I mean? The skin has a completely different flavor than the pulp. It's more herbal, almost. It tastes a lot like the flower petals. The flower petals are edible. And some people say they taste like cotton candy. I don't think they taste that way, but, you know, hey, taste is subjective. In all things, taste is subjective. To me, it tastes floral, herbal, not bad at all. I'm not crazy about the skin. Like, I'm not going to choose to eat them when my trees or bushes get bigger and I have a lot of these to harvest. I probably won't eat the skin. I'll just, you know, get the good stuff on the inside of the fruit. But when you're, you know, picking fresh fruit in November here, it's kind of nice having something a little bit different. You know, persimmons are great. I love persimmons, but you know, they're a little one note, especially the fuyus. They're a little one note. This is something, you know, completely different taste profile. So it's interesting. I like it. Let's go ahead and try this one. So this is a little bit more ripe, a little softer. You can see how much clearer that inner pulp is. I think that's one of the signs that I've seen people talk about as being really ripe. Really sweet. That part, that was good. Less of the sweet tart kind of flavor and more of just the very sweet kind of floral flavor. Okay. Interesting. And the skin on this one is a little bit more bitter as it's been sitting. Interesting. Huh. But the pulp itself is still got that sweet tart kind of flavor. Kind of a little citrusy, kind of sweet. Not as sweet as the inner pulp and the heart. But I like these. These are cool. So if you don't have a feijoa, aka pineapple guava, and you want to try growing them here in the Willamette Valley, I think it's not a bad thing to diversify what you're growing as far as edibles go. I have pineapple guavas, I have persimmons, I have plums, figs, pomegranates. So over time, and pawpaws, and over time, I'm hoping to have, you know, all these different kinds of fruit available to me to pick at different times of the season when they're coming on. So just kind of a cool thing. So there you go. All right, hope that helps. Anybody thinking about getting a couple of these bushes, you can get seedlings relatively cheap. My big seedling tree that I have came from Wilco. I think I spent maybe $15 on it, maybe 20. So seek one out, try to get two if you can, and cross-pollinate with a paintbrush, and you should be good to go after a few years in the ground. All right? All right, take care. Thanks for checking in, and have a good holiday. All right? Bye-bye.